Cool.
That was funky, man.
Groovy.
Welcome to the StompBox Situation. That was a fun little blues jam with Austin on his Gibson 339
Hello, everybody.
and me on
That
my
was Ian ripping hard on a
60th anniversary Fender Stratocaster American Pro.
And what's the color of that, Ian?
So many words. It's a Fiesta Red.
Fiesta
Best
Red.
color known to man. Thank you, Leo Fender. And Austin, what is your favorite color of guitars? Because you've got a theme going on here.
Tobacco Burst. In nothing but.
He has,
Tobacco
right
Burst.
now, I'm staring at Austin with his Tobacco Burst 339, and he's got 3 Tobacco Burst guitars right behind him on the wall.
Hanging on the wall.
And
There's no better color than that.
a lot of people would argue maybe with that statement, but here's my refinement on it. There's no more classic color than that. Like nothing gets more classic than that burst, right? When you see a Strat in that burst, I mean, that screams like American rock and roll, 1960s, 1970s. Like it's iconic. It's iconic for sure. But then you've got people out there who love their Lake Placid blue and their Olympic white. And
Or the Candy Apple Reds.
yes,
Those are good colors.
they are, but they're,
Like a 335 red.
little
cherry red, yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean,
Priceless.
That goes in the same category of like a 2-tone burst or a 3-tone burst Strat. It's just like a classic image that you'll never get out of your head. Cherry 335.
And speaking of classic, we're going to be demoing a classic pedal right here.
We are. So today, what we have for you guys is a personal favorite of mine by Tone Bakery. And Tone Bakery is, I would say, a pretty small pedal company. Not a lot of people have heard of them, but they make an amazing clone, and it's called the Creme Brulee. And I believe they also have a sort of more deluxe version of the Creme Brulee as well.
What's the difference? Do you know the
It
difference?
might be called like the
between
Creme de la Creme or something.
Creme de la creme.
I have to look that up.
Do you know the difference between the deluxe and the non-deluxe? Well, is this the deluxe version of it?
No, this is
the
like
standard.
their standard. This was like, I think, their first clone design. I think the deluxe one, there's more. I think there might be a second stomp on it, so you can like double your drive or like add some extra drive on top of it, something like that. I don't know for sure though.
Is this clone going after the silver clone or the gold clone? Do you know?
That's a fantastic question. I believe it's the silver clone, although I don't know for certain. I'm not that much of a clone expert. So the Creme de la Creme, which is the Tone Bakery's second version or improved version on the Creme Brulee, I would say, offers a second stomp, which allows you to cut the gain from your signal or turn it back on. And so it's fantastic in the sense that you could use this as a clean boost for your whole show. And then when you need to really kick out and come out into the lead, you just tap that gain on and you're a little bit louder. You got that crunch, that tone in there, and it takes you to a lead tone in just a second. Where, if you have the Creme Brulee, which is fantastic, you might also want a clean boost on your board as well. So they do offer that on the Creme de la Creme.
Visually, this pedal is also pretty pleasing. It's a nice, clean. It's not a lot of graphics on it.
Yeah, I agree. I like that. I think they saved a lot of money probably and made the pedal at a way more affordable price by not.
It's $99.
Yeah, it cost me $99 on Amazon.
About $100.
I have not replaced it in a year of having it. I've played clones before at a vintage shop. They're great, but like I would tell anybody to go pick this up, especially if you're balling on a budget.
Yeah, because if you don't want to drop $2,000 on a clone,
Drop $99 on something that to me is fantastic for most lead tones you could need, from blues to rock and roll to a clean boost if you're just doing jazz or maybe even country. It's covered everything for me. The things I feel like I can't get with this pedal are pretty much maybe like some heavy fuzz tones. That doesn't quite come through.
yeah. I don't think you would even expect to get that from that pedal, though. Because it's an OD or a boost.
No, exactly. But there are some OD pedals out there that I would say have some distortion options or some parameters that allow them to get a lot more crunchy and fuzzy.
Yeah. Well, heading more into the distortion.
Yeah, for
Zone.
sure. Yeah, the distortion fuzz zone, the metal zone.
The metal zone. Let's first start with the visual side of the pedal. So it's a 3-knob pedal, a good old one stomper. How would you describe that color, Ian?
That's a good question.
Maybe off-white mixed with an olive?
Yeah, what someone pointed out to me, which blew my mind because I was trying to figure out the same thing for a while, and I kept putting it in an off-white or cream territory. Someone said it was the classic pickguard mint green, where it looks white, but if you really look, it's like a minty green. And I think they're actually right. I think it's modeled after that vintage color because it also has some old school looking knobs on it too. So I think it's a mint. It's like a mint green, but it would fool you. It almost looks like this creamy white color from afar, similar to the old Stratocaster pickguards. But
like, for example, the one Ian has on right now.
Exactly. Like subtly, you say that's white, but when you really look at it, you realize it's modeled
It's a
more
little
after
of a
the
green.
mint green. Yeah. It's cool. What a subtle touch, right?
Yeah.
You would like. I would have never thought to do that on my guitar. It's cool that Fender did.
Or put it on the pedal.
Exactly. So yeah, as Austin said, there's only 3 knobs on the Tone Bakery, and that's treble, gain, and level. And most of you are familiar with the classic Klon Centaur, which has the same 3 knob setup. And this is a buffered bypass signal.
Buffered would help with long cable runs. When your guitar signal starts to drop, you lose most of the high end. You keep a lot of the low end. So buffered would push the high end back up. But sometimes when you feed a buffer into a fuzz, it messes with the fuzz a little bit. Makes it sound a little weird while you would feed a fuzz into something that's buffered. So you have to kind of plan where the buffer is going to be. That's why on a lot of pedal loopers, they have buffers at different positions. The higher end ones, like the RJM Mastermind, you could put a buffer, I don't know the exact locations, but you could put a buffer after the 4th loop, and then one after the 6th, and then one after the 8th, and then one at the end, or one in the front kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, because say if you have a fuzz starting in the beginning of your chain, and a buffer will mess with how the fuzz interacts with your guitar signal, you just want to put the buffer after that, because then you're going to have a long cable run to your amp, say if you're playing on a large stage or something like that.
Yeah, so that's a fantastic benefit of having a buffer in your pedal, but also something you have to plan for, right?
Yeah. For example, last week we did the Strymon Big Sky, and you can turn on and off the buffer.
That's an awesome feature.
You know, because Strymon anticipates you to use the reverb almost last in your chain. So you want to buffer. A lot of people like to buffer at the end to get that bigger boost for that long cable run rather than in front.
That's awesome.
And you could turn it on and off. So I guess that would be the trade-off of, you know, what if you want to put the OD before a fuzz, but it's buffered and you can't really, you know, you may be a little limited there.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd have to plan ahead in order to have that pedal put somewhere on your board, right? And you'd have to make sure, like you said, it meshed with your pedal chain.
Yeah.
One major difference, too, between this circuitry and the Klon Centaur circuitry is that they decided to boost the mids more than you'd hear on the Klon circuitry.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's so that you get a little more bite in the middle. And they intentionally did that, I think, to, you know, in lieu of their name, to go with sort of a creamy, rich tone.
Yeah.
And I would say, especially for like clean boosts, since this is a transparent overdrive, in case you guys are unfamiliar with Klons, for clean boosts, it's really stays in this rich, warm, nice area. And then even if you crank that gain all the way up, people will hear it, but it's still very warm, even when you start to get a lot of crunch in there. So
Well, that's about the pedal, right?
yeah,
You
as
wanna
far
get
as the
into it?
aesthetics, yeah, I mean, other than that, it's got a nice little red light and one stomp. And
Today I'm going to be playing rhythm, and Ian's going to be ripping over me. This is going to be my tone for today. You guys, give you guys a little taste. That's my tone. I'm not going to be doing any tone changes at all. I'm going to be keeping it pretty simple here. I'm running through my pedal board. I'm just using the Big Sky on a spring setting just to add a little bit reverb. And then I'm actually going through a Fender bass breaker. First time I'm ever using this amp.
And it sounds fantastic.
I'm not very knowledgeable on it.
But we're cracking the dust off of it.
Yeah, cracking the dust on it. It doesn't offer any onboard reverb. That's why I'm running through my board. But the only thing on right now is the Big Sky, just in a spring setting.
Yeah, and then I am running from a Stratocaster, Fender Stratocaster, into the Tone Bakery and straight into Austin's Vox AC15. So there's no other tone really going on. There's a slight amount of reverb coming from the amp. Other than that, everything's pretty much set at noon. So here is a dry signal, like, just my guitar right into the amp. And then we are going to, I think, just jump into demoing the pedal.
Yeah.
Right?
How do you want to do it? So should I play something and I guess Ian's just going to go on and off with the pedal?
Yeah. So since this pedal is pretty simple, we're going to keep it short today. And we're just going to run you through essentially what I would use as a clean boost. Mm-hmm. Then I'll run you through just a low amount of gain and treble. Then we're going to put the treble up to 50%. And I'm going to keep modulating that gain. And then the level is going to pretty much stay the same, although I'll let you guys know if I change that. But it's going to be simple. We're going to run through basically clean boost, low amount of OD, medium amount of OD, high amount of OD. Very simple. And Austin's going to just hold it down for us today. Hold the groove down, and I'm just going to, noodle away to give you guys some ideas of these different tunes.
Getting a little country at the end of it.
Yeah, I just thought we'd
that.
twangify it, right?
Twangify.
Yeah.
You've been twangified.
Twangified. Little.
Yeah. So that was the tone breaker used in just a clean boost setting, right?
Yeah, so that was literally in my mind the most perfect example of where I'd use the tone bakery in like a rock ballad or something where you just want a clean lead to, underscore a melody, right?
Yeah. Do you keep the tone bakery in a setting where you can use it as a clean boost when you want to and then pop it on, or do you keep it in a setting where if you want to get a lead tone? How do you usually work this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Would you rather push into the amp and overdrive the amp that way, or do you put this on and then get your overdriven sound there?
Generally, I'll use the tone bakery for a clean boost. If I had another OD on my board right now that I was using for a high overdrive, I'd especially just leave it as that all the time. But I will often leave that on all the time and then just literally lean down for the moment I need it to be like a higher overdrive, and I'll crank my gain up or something. But that doesn't work like if you're at a show, right? If I was at a show, I'd get another overdrive on there,
And you run it first in your chain.
Yes, at the moment I do.
So the setting we have right now is gain is what, about 25%, treble is 25%, and level is everything 12 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly. Because the level, it can be useful to adjust it if you just want to get a touch of like tone enhancement. But generally, if you want the overdrive to really come through, it's got to be at least at 50%, maybe 40, 35 at least. But I prefer it right up in the center.
Yeah, let's
noon.
Let's hit that.
Yeah. Okay, so now the gain is at noon, and we're going to get a much more medium size OD on this, and then we'll crank the treble up in a little bit to give you an idea of how that really makes a difference.
Dude, that's so classic.
Was that classic?
tone. That's such a classic tone.
I know, man. I agree.
Wow.
That very, very classic tone. I love that medium overdrive on something like a transparent OD like that, because it instantly, you can go blues.
Instantly gets you there.
Yes. And with a little reverb, you can just close your eyes, and for a minute you can imagine your BB King, right? Or you can imagine your Albert King. Yes, exactly. You know, it just unlocks that sweet, luscious tone out of your amp. It's like the cage opens up and it's like,
really
run
exciting.
free.
I'm getting excited. Let's do the same groove,
Yeah.
same blues thing, and push the treble a little bit, push the gain a little bit.
Yeah, let's do it. So our gain's at like 60%, treble's about 12 o'clock noon or 50%. And we've now dropped the level just a little.
Just to compensate.
Yeah, to about like 30 to compensate for the noise level. But you're still going to hear it. So here we go. We're going to do that same style. Love that, man. It's always fun jamming with you.
Yeah.
So as you can see, same style and just a little more bite, a little more crunch, and more distortion when it comes to, like, you know, doing some double stop bends or some some hammer-ons. There's a lot more distortion there. And you can control that too, you know. I mean, a lot of people will talk about Peter Green's playing and how he didn't use any pedals, but he was like incredibly in tune with his amp and at what level that
really? His dynamics?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He was so in tune with his own dynamics that he could just play light enough so you wouldn't get the distortion, and then he'd and then he'd push it into that area just through the volume where he's playing on his amp, which is cool.
Yeah.
So I think you can do that with something like this. You can play really quiet and just, that's pretty clear. But then when you really like, when you really just give it a strong strike,
really-
there's more crunch.
It really allows you to
Yeah, see,
just
it
the
adds so much
sustain on it.
sustain. Yeah. That's one big benefit of this. Why I leave it often as a clean OD to or a clean boost, is that it adds so much more sustain to your playing. In my experience of it, that's a great way to use it too. Sometimes if you just want to beef up like a small amp.
Yeah, and you could tell that playing through this pedal, you can feel it. You know, the player can feel it. You know what I mean? That's probably a very vague way of saying it. But you know when you pick up an old guitar and all of a sudden you get really inspired. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes,
So
I
this
know
pedal is
exactly what you mean.
inspirational.
It's not always that you get a pedal and you plug into it, like you're saying, and you have some instant inspiration, or like a guitar where you pick it up and you feel like there's songs waiting for you inside of it. There are pedals that are definitely not like that, but this one is absolutely one of those pedals where from the moment I put it on my board, I was inspired to explore the tones in the pedal, and as a result, the places in which those tones would be most useful. So I feel like it encouraged my blues playing and my rock playing, because I wanted to slap this baby on and see how much it really beefed up this little Pro Junior tube amp I had. So at the time I had no like it's just a tone knob and a volume knob, and it was the first amp I really ever bought for myself, and that OD was there with me from the beginning, and it helped me like really boost that tone on that amp. So that's a great use of it.
All right, let's push this bad boy.
Yeah, let's get some just crunchy thrash tones for Thrashed Thursday. And I don't play thrash, but guys, I'm gonna try my best at just doing some dirt nasty something.
Wow.
Fuck yeah, man. Boom.
Bam.
Boom. Yeah, here's the question of the day. As you know, we insert it randomly throughout the episode.
Should we do 2 amps more often?
Or do you like the dual axe action? Let us know. Yeah.
That's the Tone Bakery in all of its glory.
A couple tips and tricks for using the Tone Bakery. So we gave you 3 ideas of how you could use this. Basically, low OD, mid OD, and high OD.
Yep.
But some of the ways I use it, besides a clean boost, will be for, modulating my tone in very subtle ways. So, for example, if I really want to do like an Allman Brothers style tone, I'm playing, let's say, in memory of Elizabeth Reed, and you want that sort of fuzzy, thick Les Paul OD tone. What you can do is, you can get a humbucker instrument like I have my Les Paul, and I run it into the Tone Bakery, and I roll my tone out almost completely on my guitar. I crank that gain up. I kill the treble a little bit, and then you can get this really nice Santana sort of Allman Brothers, just thick, fuzzy, powerful, driving rock and roll tone. That's one way I really use this. And so even if you're not completely into clean or transparent overdrive, trust me, you can take this to that Santana territory if you're looking to. That's just a little tip from Ian Resch.
Tip from Ian.
Yeah. And go on Amazon or Reverb. They're only like $80 right now on there.
Yeah.
All their other pedals are under $100.
For my review of this pedal, it's totally worth $80.
Wouldn't you spend
Easily.
$80 on this?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not going to break your bank. and you're going to get tasty clone-like tones all day.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. My name is Austin.
And my name's Ian. We appreciate your support as always. And if you have something you want to share with us or send our way,
maybe a pedal you want us to review that you've been itching to buy, maybe we have it in stock.
Maybe you make the pedal and you'd love to have some content out there for your company, send us your pedal or shoot us an email. We'd be happy to feature it and we'll get something set up. Thank you again.